Okay, one of our goals this year has been to look at various verb time periods. We can call them tiempos verbales. And so far, you've really just mostly worked with the indicativo formally. You've been reading other things in books all along, but really verb times we have in the indicative, that's just a fancy word for non-subjunctive. You have a present tense, what you normally do, and you have two past tenses. You have the future, you have conditional, you have some hybrids where you have what somebody has done or what someone is doing. And all of those can be different time periods, but they're all indicative as you've mostly learned them. And you're probably wondering, what is indicative? Indicative just means normal, like you usually have used them. There is such a thing, though, as subjunctive in anything that came from Rome. So any of the languages that came from Latin, whether it be Italian or Sicilian dialect or, some of these are almost very few speakers, but others are major. Catalan, Castellano, as we are studying, French, and even Romanian. These are languages which had a subjunctive. So I like to think of the subjunctive as if you have the right conditions, it happens, and you have a present and you have a past, but you have to have the right conditions for the reaction to happen, kind of like chemistry. I'm no chemistry teacher, but I think for chemistry to happen, you have reactions that happen when you have the right elements in the right conditions. And so the right elements for us to have the subjunctive happen are you have to have a trigger on a list of triggers, and want happens to be one of them. You've been using want all along with no reaction when you said things like yo quiero lavar los platos, I want to wash the dishes. This word is we'll call it radioactive here, reactive word that could trigger the subjunctive after this K bridge if you have a second subject. So if I said, instead of I want to wash the dishes, if I said my mom wants me to wash the dishes, in English they both sound like to wash. But mi mamá quiere que yo lave los platos. Yo lave is a different person washing than the person who wants. So that K there divides the two. This is on the trigger list, and then I have a change in subject. The classic phrase when somebody asks you, hey, you took Spanish, say something in Spanish, and you're like, ¿Qué quieres que diga? What do you want that I say? So I have a change in subject. I'm the second subject, you're the first one, and this happens to be a reactive word. Let's see what all the reactive words are on our list. Well, there are different ways I can divide what triggers the subjunctive up, but one way to do it is to think of wants and wishes and desires, and then advice and recommendations. This next group's a little bit, possibly a couple groups in one, but it's somebody preferring, telling you to do something, insisting that you do something, someone else is commanding, or begging, or pleading, or allowing, or permitting, prohibiting. Really, we just have to memorize which words are kind of reactive. And these are not going to be in the subjunctive. It's what comes after a K bridge. Doubt, uncertainty, disbelief, or denial. Let's look at a couple examples. Let's say we're having a party and we really hope that you can come to our party. Esperamos que tú puedas venir a la fiesta. So we're hoping, that's on the list. I have a K and then a change in subject. This was we and now it's you. And this is in the subjunctive, which, how do we know that's in subjunctive? We'll come back and look at that in a moment. Let's skip this one for now. This is, by the way, there is a past subjunctive, and then basically if you have a past tense trigger, then the second half of the sentence will be in the past subjunctive. So we have to talk about how to make those. I'm strictly focusing on the present right now. My parents demand is a reactive word here. That I, change in subject, get good grades. Mis padres siempre exigen que yo saque buenas notas. Past tense can be fun with Cenicienta, Cinderella. If you know the story of Cinderella, the wicked godmother ordered Cinderella to clean the whole house. Le mandó a Cenicienta que limpiara la casa entera. She insisted that Cinderella not go to the dance. Insistió que Cenicienta no fuera al baile. Again, we'll talk about how to make that later, but the same principle applies. You have a trigger, a change in subject. So we can see this is bigger than a single tense, which would be present. I've present, I've past, but the basic formula happens the same triggers, change in subject, and it's the second half of the sentence here after the K bridge where it happens. Doubt, I doubt she's really sick today. Dudo que ella realmente esté enferma hoy. She's absent on test day. How convenient, right? Dudo que esté enferma. How did we get esté? Let's look at how to make these. Just a quick review. I've posted it already, so this is a review. We're going to find the yo form. This is present, by the way. Okay, so there is another document I will show you later for how to do past. But if your trigger is in the present, like if you said she wants us to go to the party, how do we get the we go part? Well, here's our rule. Find the yo form, tengo, for example, drop the o, and add these new subjunctive endings, which are, for AR verbs, it looks like this. And for ER and IR verbs, it looks like this. You can pause the video if you need more time to ponder that. You've heard these in lots of conversations. You've heard people say on Mexican Independence Day, que viva Mexico. You maybe have heard people say, que tengas buen día, have a nice day. How do we get these? Well, again, AR verbs get ER endings, sort of, opposite-ish. And ER-IR verbs get kind of what looks like AR endings. Again, follow the rules. Find the yo form. We get conozco and add opposite endings. If I said, hey, Miguel, I want you to meet my family. Quiero que conozcas a mi familia. Or your mom says, hey, come here, can you help me? And you say, sure, Mom, what do you want me to do? ¿Qué quieres que yo haga? What do you want really that I do? It's not to do in Spanish. So, salir, salga, venir, venga, poner, ponga, seguir, siga, and ver, veo, in the indicative becomes vea. These all are regular. The only time you have irregular is if you can't follow the rule of dropping the O because it doesn't end in an O if you're these verbs. So you have sea, and lots of examples of these too. In fact, let's take a look at a few right now with sea and esté from the news. Okay, espero que AMLO no esté contagiado de coronavirus, says Felipe Calderón, which I think that's the former president of Mexico. So I hope that AMLO is not infected with coronavirus. So I hope that AMLO, which I'm not sure what AMLO here is not. How about this one? I did all these coronavirus just because it's the times we're in. I hope that Italy serves or is a symbol, really an example, so that Argentina becomes aware or takes seriously the coronavirus. Espero que Italia sea un símbolo para que Argentina tome conciencia del coronavirus. So sea and esté, that's another topic for when to use ser and estar, but those are both subjunctive forms after the K. Very important to remember after the K. I hope that we learn to appreciate or value more the smaller things. So the pandemic makes you think about things like that, right? Espero que aprendamos a valorar más las pequeñas cosas. So those are some cases from the news. Really, it comes down to understanding this diagram here. You've got to have a change in subject And you've got to know what your reactive words are that trigger the subjunctive on the second part of the sentence. It's over here where we get the subjunctive. I hope you have a nice day. Espero que tengas buen día. By the way, that one sometimes gets implied on I hope, and people just start with the word que. But you're really still saying, I hope you have a nice day. You're just dropping the I hope part. So that can be implied. Let's say we're taking a trip, and we hope that the trip is really fun. Esperamos que el viaje not es, but sea divertido. Mi madre prefiere que nosotros not nos quedamos, but nos quedemos en un hotel, en lugar de acampar. Yo quiero que tú viajes con nosotros. One other word which has an interesting history, which is a little bit debated. Some people think ojalá comes from Arabic. I've seen people possibly argue that, but in Arabic, Allah is God, and some people say this is may God allow that something happens. It's another way to say I hope, really. This is a little bit of an impersonal expression in that you don't exactly have a subject number one. It's just sort of translates as I hope, or hopefully, right? Hopefully it's sunny and doesn't rain during our trip. You just say ojalá que, and we're going to imagine that there's an implied subject over here. And then the second half, after the que, is where I get the subjunctive. Hacer becomes haga. Why haga? Well, hago becomes haga. Y que no llueva, llover, an ER verb with AR endings here, durante el viaje. And hopefully you can go with us. Ojalá que puedas ir con nosotros. Okay, and of course, I said you can even drop ojalá or espero. And what you're really saying is, I hope that you have a nice day, but que tengas un buen día. And que te vaya bien, may it go well for you. Those are some examples of the subjunctive. We're going to look at a lot of other cases. Today was just an introductory case. Really, I think we'll probably look at hopes and wishes and recommendations. Then we'll look at doubt, uncertainty, disbelief, and denial. And then we're going to really break the rules and undo our bridge illustration and show examples of when you could use subjunctive and it doesn't fit that formula. So more to come on upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Espero que hayan aprendido algo. I shouldn't have used that form there, sorry. What else could I say? Espero que entiendan el subjuntivo. Hasta luego.